This is Rock and Roll Grad School with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling. They walk into a party like they were walking onto a yacht.
Hello, kiddies. We're going to have a real good time together. Aren't we?
Yes, of course.
This is where you come in, yes. No, we've got a good show today. What was it? There's a delay. There was a pause where you were like...
No, I didn't pause.
Are we?
I didn't
heard
pause.
I
think it's a Wi-Fi pause. I did not pause. I thoroughly loved this interview, and I think we're going to have an excellent time today.
Okay, well, there you go. And this week we are talking with Alan Hewitt from his band is called Alan Hewitt and One Nation, but he's in another band that you also may heard of, this little outfit called the Moody Blues. And he's been in that for decades. So Alan has spent many a night in white satin, correct?
He has indeed. Yes.
Yes.
Many a night.
Many a night. So we had a lovely talk with Alan about recording during pandemics and playing in all sorts of situations and his sort of trial by fire that was his audition for the Moody Blues.
Right. And also he's full of a world of surprises because he has co-written some pretty epic songs that are of a totally different ilk.
No, that's true. Make a grown man cry, I believe. Is that the line?
Right.
Right. Okay.
That is. Yeah. Cool drink of water.
Which we also get into.
We're not kidding.
So we don't only talk. No, we got everything with this.
And he's from Michigan. So
we have Michigan, we have desserts, we have Moody Blues. We have a lovely night out in 1/2 hour of a show.
We do. Plus he's really fun.
Yeah. Yes. That's wonderful. What is the difference? I know you've done solo albums as well. What's the difference between a Alan Hewitt solo album and an Alan Hewitt and One Nation album?
I know it gets convoluted, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The difference is that what I wanted to do with this one is really empower the band more. So, so I do still write the material, most of it, and arrange it and get it to them, and then they do their own parts, and put their own interpretations in, which is great. And these guys are all, such great players. So that's the big difference. On the other material, I pretty much it's locked down to pretty much what I come up with, and then they do it. I score it out and they do it. So and the thing is, what we want to do with this thing is we really like playing together and hanging, and so it's kind of going back to the old band days, which full circle, like when you're young and you starting out and I want to do a band. That's and we can go out and enjoy touring and kind of prosper as a whole.
Mm-hmm. And how much change do they bring? Is this are you shocked when you listen back to the finished track versus what you came in with?
I'm pleased.
Basically, is Duffy screwing everything up?
Yeah, that's what happens, because it does take on a new identity when they put their things on there. Even though some of the parts are similar, but the it's just the way they play it and interpret it make it so much better. And it's kind of hard to explain, but it just becomes another magical thing when the guys put their stuff on there.
How did y'all find each other?
So I'm in the Moody Blues, and Billy Ashbaugh is in the Moody Blues. He's the drummer now with Graham Edge. We have two drummers. And then Duffy King is from, like we were talking about, from northern Michigan, and so am I. and we've known each other since we were kids. We were in competing bands, and then I ended up being in a band that he was in, and vice versa. And I bring him in. So we've known each other that way, and both of those guys are in. I brought them into John Lodge, who is, I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band, member of the Moody Blues. So those two guys are in that, and we have another actually Detroit guy that plays cello that's in that group too. Yeah, and then Dave was recommended from our sound guy, and he plays with the Neville Brothers. He lives now I live in Florida, and so does Billy, and so does Dave. So it's nice because three of us are in the same location where we can drive and stuff. So that's cool. And Dave is also from, like we were talking about, from Detroit as well.
See, I'm telling you, the world will know it here.
Yeah. So that's how we got to know each other. And we are constantly touring with John Lodge, with the three of us. And then this year probably will be a little different because of the COVID thing, and who knows what's going to happen. I know we have things for 2022 with John Lodge, but we'll see if there's anything before that. But we plan to go out earlier with this band because we can play some other places that maybe are a little smaller, do that kind of thing.
Is it hard having simultaneous projects with a lot of the same people, but then some other players in the mix too? Or is it easy to switch hats?
Just switch hats. And it's not too difficult because a lot of times on John's, I'm the music director. So it's pretty much the same thing, but just different music. You're kind of working things out and getting the arrangements done. And the same goes for this band. This band's a little more intense because each time we do a new song, we do a video, and then we do some virtual concerts. Actually, we did a virtual concert called Prague Stock in October, and three of us got COVID from that.
Oh no!
So we got it early, and or no, I guess I wasn't early. But anyway, we did get it and got it over with, and so that was interesting. But they both kind of working together now with the Moody Blues. It's a different thing. I'm the keyboard player, so that's such a much bigger project. We have 30 people in the crew, and things just really go smoothly on that, and it's just a whole nother animal in itself.
How'd you get that gig? Were you a fan before joining?
Not really.
Or did you lie on the application?
Yeah. I had been doing film scores and other TV projects and stuff like that in LA, and really didn't plan on going on the road at that point. I was kind of really entrenched in that. And what happens when you do leave town to tour, a lot of times you'll lose those clients. So, but I got a call from their agent, and they asked, they really didn't say what band it was. They said, would you be interested in going on tour? We know you're busy with this other stuff, but we thought this might be something that you'd like. And I said, I think so. Yeah, depending on who it is. And a couple of weeks later, they finally said, well, it's the Moody Blues. And I said, yeah, I'll definitely go out, because I already knew Justin, because we had met during the, I think it was the riots, the LA riots. Mm-hmm. And he was in town. They were in town doing something, maybe recording. And we just kind of hung out. And I had a sailboat at the time, so we'd go out and sailboat and and just kind of hang. So it was really very surreal how that happened. And 20 years later, I get to call and go out. And of course, it's a really nice fit for me, because they're all great guys to play with, and really cushy.
Yeah, perfect.
But it seems like it's got to be a high bar, because people know and love those records, where you best not mess that one up.
It is. There's a high bar there. There's a lot of orchestration that's fun for the keyboard player, because there's lots of stuff to do. And we have besides the three of them, they have the three originals, Graham, Justin, and John. And then there's four of us extra musicians, that flute player, and another a background singer, and also she does the secondary key parts, and then Billy, as I mentioned, the drummer. And so it's seven people up on stage, that and
That's awesome.
it's a nice big sound.
Do you still feel like the new kid in the band? Or do
Not
you
so
feel
much
like
anymore.
you've
Actually, I feel like the old kid almost. The Gordy was the drummer that Billy replaced, and it was fun because what happened is, when I got the gig, I had about 3 weeks to prepare, and then we didn't do a rehearsal, so I did this really quick rehearsal with Justin,
wow.
and he changed a lot of stuff, and then we had sound check. And basically, before I went up on sound check, Gordy, his name's Gordy Marshall, he goes, "Don't F up."
Thanks. Thanks for that.
And because he'd really been very supportive, and this was great. And we ended up being best buddies. It's kind of neat because where I am and where the drums are, we're up on these risers, and we're right there, so we can kind of kid around a lot. So I did good that first night, but I got a half a sound check. That was my rehearsal. But no pressure.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
My first concert ever, which Luke probably doesn't know this, was the Moody Blues at Pine Knob.
Oh, wow. That was before me.
It was before you.
What was it?
Way before.
When was it?
It was like 81, 82.
Whoa, yeah.
So my friend's parents had tickets, and my mom was a huge Moody Blues fan.
That's how it works.
And so, yes, so she didn't go, but my friend's parents, my friend and I went, and I loved it. And then the first concert I begged to go to and went to was the Jackson 5 Victory Tour at the Silver Dome. So that was my second concert.
Silver Dome. That's a long way. Yeah, the Silver Dome.
Long way. But yeah, so our mothers are huge fans of the show. So my mother will be completely geeking out with the fact that you're.
Has she gone to any of the shows in the last 10 years or so?
No, she's stuck up in Northport, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
So.
I know where that is. A lot of with the Moody's, we played mostly. I'm trying to think of. Is it the Fox Theater? Yep.
Yeah.
The last two shows with the Moody's, but then with John Lodge, we played. It's outside. It's where the symphony.
Not Meadowbrook or Shane Park.
Yeah,
Meadowbrook. So that's where I went to college.
And that was last summer. No, 2019 with Royal Affair tour, which was Yes, Asia, John Lodge, and Carl Palmer.
I don't understand why I wasn't at that show.
That was fun.
Fantastic. It's funny. It's funny to me the whole half a sound check is daunting, but then in learning about your career and it's literally like a mixtape of everything, because it's soundtracks, it's Warrant, it's the Moody Blues, it's Earth, Wind and Fire, it's everything.
It's like all over the map is what it is. It's just the way it worked out, and I guess I was able to do those different things. And somebody said, "Can you do this?" I'd just say yes, because I knew I could. But sometimes you go into things. I'm sure Luke knows this. You go into things not quite certain if you're going to be able to pull them off, and you go, "Sure, I can do
it."
Yep. And usually it works out.
Have you seen your style change as you have worked with all these different groups? Because like you said, you're going into some gigs being like, yeah, I'll figure this out. Or, with the Moody Blues, you have to learn somebody else's parts to a certain extent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How has that affected your playing or even your songwriting with One Nation as you're learning how other folks do it?
I think it's just a learning process. That's the thing. I don't like things to be stagnant. So if I'm still learning, then I know that things are going to stay fresh. And it's really, I really appreciate what I've learned from, like, and it's not always just music. Sometimes it's the business things. Sometimes it's the way to act. And just the nuances of this crazy music business. But I've learned from all of them. And speaking of Earth, Wind and Fire, he was my mentor, Maurice White was, and I was so lucky to like work with him.
Oh, yeah.
And then Justin and John are also great. They've been in the business so long and done everything, obviously. So it's really interesting to see how different people handle different things, and fun stuff, all of it.
Is there a particular genre that handles themselves better than others?
Jazz guys aren't used to being catered to that much, so they just want to play. So that's cool about that. Same with probably blues too. Obviously, rock guys, especially from that era, have had such a much better ride than anybody ever in the pop thing, I think. And so things have to be, pretty much just right. Yeah, but there's instances when I remember we played Summerfest last, it was year 2018, I think. And the rain was coming down, sheets, and they had put it's outside. They put a new kind of a top on it, but the thing was leaking right down in the stage. And I literally, the fire department's standing on the side there, and I had towels. So when I wasn't playing, I put the towel there, and I had 4 keyboards. So would take the towel off, play that part, put the towel back on, and then finally they saw a shock come off one of the guys' mics, and they shut it down. But we were going to go. We were not good. So in that kind of thing, I mean, they are, especially the Moody's, are bound and determined that they're going to play for the fans. Those fans came, and they're going to play for them. And with John, I've been so sick that literally I can't stand up. And I remember saying one time, "Hey, you think we can cut the set short a little bit?" Are you joking?
Oh no.
What does that tell you?
Right. I mean, that's, as a fan, that's the best.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I feel as a musician. Yeah. Wow.
But how is your ear? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. That's it. That's
No, I was wondering how your ear is for sort of hearing a hit. Again, like Heidi said, with the people you've worked with, when you hear the Cherry Pie record, are you going, "Yeah, there's something here," or is it, I don't know, everyone's so fickle?
Actually, I didn't think that anything was there. That's a funny story, because how that all works, this worked out how I'm kind of got to play with all these people, is because my manager also managed their group, managed Warrant, managed Earth, Wind and Fire, Moody Blues, and several others, Beach Boys. So when there was an opportunity, I would go and work with them. So what happened with Warrant is that Donnie Einer from Columbia Records called and said they had finished the record. It was, the guys thought they were done, and Donnie said, "Hey, told my manager, there's no hit on this record." And so Eddie and my managers called me up and said, "Alan, Janie's coming down the house. You guys got to write a hit."
Again, no pressure.
So Janie was the lead singer of the band. He came down, and he forgot his guitar, so I had to borrow one from the neighbor. And then he had a lot of the ideas kind of sussed out, and then I just put it together. So I redid the bridge, I redid some of the other a lot of the down, all that kind of stuff. And we literally knocked that thing out in 20 minutes. But you got to understand, at the time I was writing with the Tubes, Eddie Money, Donny Osmond, Hart, all these different people. So there was so many songs going on that I didn't know, what would be accepted from the labels or anything.
Right.
So we got done with that song. I recorded it at my studio. We took it over to the studio, which Bo Hill is the producer. They put everything down that night and then finished it off the next day. So they said, they gave it to the label, and they said, you know what? This is a hit. We're going to make the whole concept of the record around this. And I think both of us were a little shocked, because I don't think that's exactly where Janie wanted to be labeled. He liked a couple other songs that were on the record. Uncle Tom's Cabin was his favorite, and that's what he thought, he wanted. So that was a strange one. So that's your question on that. So there are times when I think there's a song, this is the greatest song in the world. And then maybe other people don't think that way. I really like complex things. I like there to be a real, a big form of music. The lyrics are real important to me, but not as important as the music. And I think with people, the lyrics are probably more important than with a normal fan or so. Unless you're
us.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Well, I think too, so much of it, that's one of the things I sometimes struggle with, in the fact that in today's age, it's hard to just sit down with an album and dive into it. Because I'll get drawn to an artist by the single, and I'll love the single. I'll love it. I'll think it's amazing. But then it's usually like that track that's on, the B side, that's like the third one in, that they're like just threw it on because somebody in the band, it was their favorite.
Yeah.
That's always my favorite. And I feel like it's hard to find those now, unless you really take the time to dive in.
Well, it is. And luckily you have the patience to do that, because really that's what I'm trying to do on this record. Is it's more conceptual, and the songs are 5-6 minutes long.
Yeah.
So I really like that 70s era where, there was, like Sgt. Pepper's, where you'd have a concept for a record. And so that's where this record is kind of going. It does have, or I keep calling them records, album.
Oh no, we do too.
We do too.
Yeah.
We totally do too.
Thing. And I kind of like, there's I always have a certain kind of plan. It doesn't always end up being that, but this one has taken a neat life of its own. And I don't know if you heard the previous One Nation record. That one was all instrumental except for one song. So this one is more vocal than maybe I think we have 2 or 3 instrumentals, and the rest are going to be vocal. So that's the difference. And it's kind of got a classic, yes, Genesis, back in the day vibe to it, which is, I loved all the earlier stuff because it had a Beatle type of vibe to it.
Yeah.
With the vocals.
So when you finally take this record and this band out on tour, are you going to play the whole thing through, since it is sort of a bigger concept, or is it just we're going to take a few of these, we're going to do a few from the old stuff?
What we do, we've done a couple of shows with it, and we've intermixed some of the first record, especially the stuff that can kind of really set up some other things. So we'll do that, and then we'll probably, it's a 2-hour, usually 2-hour show. So we do most of the stuff. Maybe a couple things that I probably wouldn't do the vocal song off of the first record, because that was a guy named Alex Boy that sang that. YouTube, actually, he's gonna blow up here. He's got lots of things going. He's got a TV show and stuff. So So in that kind of thing. And then a lot of the guys on that record were, one guy was with Chick Corea, Jamie Glazer, and then the other two were with Bruce Hornsby. That's J.V. Collier from Detroit.
Yes.
And Son Emery, one of the greatest drummers in the world. So that was really cool. That was like my I don't care if anybody likes this or not, I'm doing it anyway. And because, this the kind of music that I chose to do for the group, and it's not like big popular music, it's eclectic. It's it's got certain people will like it, and certain people won't have the patience to sit around and listen to that. So that's the gamble you take, but it's okay with me, because it's really about, for me, it's about like feeling satisfied at the end of the day when I finish the project up, and I can say, yeah, I pretty much got that 95%. Never gotten 100%, maybe 95.
95 is pretty good.
Yeah. We'd take 95 on this show.
Yeah, we would totally take 95.
Oh, you guys are doing good.
Take 90. A minus.
Well, that seems fine. It seems like it's got to be a great gift, especially with this genre of music, when you can take it out and play it for audiences, and they've given you their time in listening to the music, and then coming to see you, they get a whole nother experience of it. And you have this sort of dedicated 2-hour window to say, all right, you put your trust in us that we're going to do something for a few hours, just follow along. And that's got to be such a great reward for especially this type of rock music, that it does take a bit to build. It is. It's really the most wonderful thing in the world to be able to do that, and especially if people like it, to throw stuff at it never hurts.
Yeah. It's a little better.
I've been lucky enough that it has worked out, and the just playing live is just so cool anyway. It's just the kind of the icing on the cake. I love being in the studio, which I spend most of my time at, but when I get to go out and actually hear everything come to fruition, and the interplay between the musicians and the audience, and it kind of takes a new life on, because it's almost like being an actor where you improvise, and different things will happen that, at different nights. The bigger the band, like when you're doing big rock tours, that's not as easy to do because there's so many moving parts. Things have to kind of be what they are. And but with this kind of unit, we can go off on any kind of tangent we want to, and be able to get back to the place where we came from. So it's great. For more information on Alan, to pick up any of his records, or to find out when him and One Nation or the Moody Blues will be playing in your area, check out his website, alanhewitt.com.
You can follow us on all the various socials. You can check out our website at rockandrollgradschool.com for more grad school content. And please leave us a review on iTunes. We're tired of asking our family members to do so.
Today's show was produced by myself and Heidi Hedquist. Our reluctant executive producers are John Sove and Sandy Stone. Our willing producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. Our graphic designer is Samantha Mastonen. This one's for Philippe. Thank you, good night, and may all your favorite bands stay together.